May 16th, 2016. Garden update. The garden's doing good. We've had one good soaker, which helped out a lot, which kept the ground wet for about a week. But besides that, we just had a couple little spritzes here and there, and so I've had to do not too much hand watering, but I probably could have done more to keep the garden growing better. But I like to not water if I don't have to. But everything's growing good. The sugar snaps in this bed are doing good. I got half sugar snaps here, half snow peas. The snow peas just did a bunch of leaves and no peas, so I don't think I'm going to do snow peas in that bed anymore. I did a little test. You can see that growing right there through tomato trellis. That grew well, and I've got a decent amount of snow peas in there. So I think I just got more sun in that area. So if I do snow peas, I'll have to do them over there from now on. Or on the back side of the bed of this, I think I might get a little bit better. The sun hits the back side of this big bed a little bit better than the front, but it was time to rotate them on this side. Last year I did tomatoes, so I flip-flopped the peas into tomatoes, so I'll lose a little bit of daylight or sunlight on this side that I got my peas. The sunchokes are growing good. I got cherry tomato in between those. It's doing good and it's starting to get some tomatoes, so I think that's going to be a good spot for a tomato plant. I stuck a Okra plant underneath there, and I think it's just a little too much shade. It's not doing much, but everything's growing good. The Okra plant over here is doing good, so I think this is going to be plenty of sun for it. That's the Okra plant. Oh, come on, focus there. That's the Okra plant there, and a little one there, and another little one back there. So I'm really curious to see how well they do. Buddy, don't get in the bed. Come on. I've had slug problems with my kale. So the kale's been struggling a little bit. Had just enough rain for the slugs can survive, so I think next year I might try to do a little bit better slug control, because I think it'll dry up here soon where I'm not worried about it as much, but we'll see. The dandelions, you can see they're growing like crazy, so I don't think I'll have any problems with dandelions next year. It's starting to get a flower already, so I might try to harvest that and make some powder out of it or something, just to dry it and make a powder and put it in the smoothies. The radishes, they're past done, they're bolting. I've eaten about as many of those as I want, so I think those are going to be ripped out and given to the chickens here soon, and I'll probably plant some bush beans there. The lettuce ended up doing really good in this bed. Next year I need to plant less lettuce. I've got so much lettuce I can't keep up with it, so next year I'll probably keep the same amount of lettuce, but try to do a little bit better successions with it, where like I just keep this bed blank a little bit longer and then plant it after that other lettuce matures, which could work out good because this gets a little bit more shade here. The garlic's still doing good. The collard tree, this one's starting to take off, so I think I'm gonna get some good collards out of that. The Swiss chard underneath it's starting to take off. The tomatoes over here, got the strings wired up for it, so I think I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, just 5 trunks, split that into 5 trunks and let it come up. I'm glad I got it split into 4 right now. Or just weave it back and forth. What? Kale's doing good even in this potted plant. Had a slug tearing that one up, but I got him out. The thyme's creeping, not doing much, but I think that'll take off next year. We got some more ground cherry tomatoes there. starting to mature. I'm trying to get those big enough so I can get them in the bed and the slugs won't bother them. This is Malabar Spinach. I'm going to try to do a couple successions of that, so I'm going to try to get those matured in the pot here before I start moving them over to the main bed. I'm probably going to have those where the peas are, or where the sugar snaps are. Collard trees are doing good here. Even the ones that went to seed are starting to take off a little bit. Here is the ground cherry. You've seen how much it's grown. It's really taken off. It's getting some nice ground cherries underneath there. All underneath here, starting to put up little buds all over. So I think this bush is going to get crazy big. So hopefully once the tomatoes will get tall enough and out of the way so that thing can bush out. The Swiss chards are really taking off. Sorrel's taking off. Those, I think these are all butter crunches, which they're growing really good in this bed. So, I did some in the wintertime, they did decent, but nothing like the summertime, so that butter crunch is going to be good to do. The cilantro is about done. It's bolting. I've harvested most of it. So I need to get some more seeds down there and get it started. Hopefully there's some that are starting to poke up, but I think they got shaded out and maybe withered back. So through here you can see I've sowed some Malabar spinaches through here. So hopefully when I pull these peas out, which these snow peas, I might go ahead and pull them out. They're starting to flower, but it's not going to be worth it. I'd rather get that Malabar spinach growing. I might yank those out this weekend, let that Malabar spinach start to get some sun and so it can take off. The amaranth is starting to pop up. You can see the red there. So I should be able to get some harvest on that here soon. Bok choy's done. I've been feeding the ones that are bolting, which is all of them now, to the chickens. So got some chicken food for them. The lettuce here is just out of control. I've been harvesting it. What I've been doing, I don't know if you can tell, but there's like a little strip through here. I've just completely been harvesting it down to almost to the ground and letting it regrow from the ground, and it's done that a couple times, but I just can't keep up with it. So next year I'm gonna try to space out my successions and the lettuce a little bit better. The tomatoes are growing good, getting some nice flowers on here, and some of them I'm starting to get some little tomatoes down there. I'm seeing little tomatoes. Where you at? Oh, yeah, some growing on there. Here's a nice big flower here, so hopefully I'll get a big old wad of them right there. The stalks are looking nice and healthy. This one's only got one flower cluster. I think this is a German Johnson here. German Johnsons don't look like they're going to be quite as prolific. This is a black grim here, I think, and it's putting up some big flowers, some big stout stalks on the flowers too, which I like. That's going to give it plenty of support. It's just a weird growing plant. You can see how spindly the flowers are, or the leaves. I really don't like that. It just doesn't seem like maybe it just grows a little bit different, because they do unwind and end up doing alright, but they're not the healthiest looking leaves. That was one that was kind of yellowed out. You can see a little bit of the yellow that's left over here, but it seems like a lot of that yellow's turned to green. I think that might have been, I buried that one down really deep. It was a long spindly plant that I got from a neighbor that I buried real deep and let it just barely stick out, which maybe the bottom of this bed is just getting soaked and it's just getting too waterlogged. Yeah, I'm starting to get some good flowers here. Tomatoes. So I think I'm going to have a good run on my tomatoes, but the only problem in North Carolina is it gets really hot quick, which last year I had a bunch of tomatoes in the bottom, then nothing in the middle, and then tomatoes at the top again. So we'll see what happens. but let's see, something came in here and bit these. Beets are looking good. I think I'm starting to get some bulbs here. Yeah, starting to get some nice little bulbs. So I think I'll have beets. I can start harvesting beets in about 2 or 3 weeks. All the Swiss chard. There are a couple of Swiss chards over here. They're doing good. So I think right here, I'm gonna pull this bok choy up here. Pull this bok choy up here and do some bush beans. So up through here I'll have bush beans and get some of that Malabar spinach growing up the vine. This Malabar spinach is getting shaded out here. It's got a little bit of slug damage, but let's see if I can get it focused. But I'll just harvest these beets first to give it some sun. But this over here, this Malabar spinach is doing good. I'm actually gonna have to get it connected to get a vine run here soon, but you can see that. It's looking nice and healthy. So I'm gonna get that running up a vine here, and there's another one. That one's starting to get nice and healthy. So the Malabar spinach is growing good. I was a little bit worried about these two over here, because this one was very yellow for whatever reason. I gave it some fertilizer and some Epsom salt, and it ended up coming back around. This one's starting to shoot, so I think I'm gonna get this one. It's funny, this Malabar spinach will sit for a while, and then once it matures, I think it just builds a good root base first, and then it starts shooting up. So it's been a good month. Yeah, about a month in the ground here, and it's finally just starting to shoot up. So I just don't have quite too much sun back here, so it's probably just taking a little longer. But just having some good hopes that I think this will be a good little spot for the Malabar spinach. Here's the cherry tomato. So it's starting to put up some good flowers. It's got some good nice ones started down here. These are all the sunchokes around it, so hopefully that tomato will keep growing fast enough to keep away. I was hoping to get my okra planted the last 2 weeks, but I just haven't had time. Usually I'll do some okra through here. So hopefully I can get that planted in the ground before I go on vacation. But I think that's about it. Let's see how this basil's doing. I got some basil over here. I threw some basil in the corner because this gets kind of shaded out, which I thought could be good for this basil to keep it from shooting. Had some, yeah, it's doing good. That'll be a good spot for basil. Lemon balm's kicking. You can't stop that stuff. That's about it. Everything seems to be growing good. Sun's starting to come out. Hopefully we can just keep some rain coming. Peace out.